Before we dive into today's story, I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. It's always amazing to see how far our stories travel. And if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss tomorrow's special episode. Trust me, it's one you won't want to miss. Now, get comfy, grab a snack, and let's step into another unforgettable story. She used a car window to fix her bra. What happened next changed her life. Lily Thompson had exactly 6 minutes to make it to the most important interview of her life. Her phone showed 8:54 a.m., the interview was at 9 o'clock sharp, and she still had 2 blocks to go. She sprinted down Sunset Boulevard, her thrift store flats slapping against the pavement, her resume folder pressed tightly against her chest. The California sun was already blazing at 90 degrees, and her white blouse, one of only 2 she owned without a stain, was quickly turning into a sauna. "I'm going to sweat through my first impression," she muttered, dodging a man on a scooter and nearly tripping over a sidewalk crack. Her heart pounded like it was trying to leap out of her ribcage, and her mind raced even faster. She reached the front of the sleek, glass-covered high-rise just in time to spot something unexpected: a shiny black BMW parked out front, its windows perfectly tinted, reflective, like a luxury mirror just waiting to be used. Lily slowed down, caught her breath, and walked up to the passenger side window. "God bless rich people and their fancy cars," she whispered. She glanced around to make sure no one was watching. Confident she had a moment of privacy, she leaned in closer. With the precision of someone late and desperate, she reached under her blouse to adjust her bra, twisting her body in a movement that could only be described as part gymnastics, part wardrobe malfunction. Once satisfied, she grabbed a lipstick from her bag, quickly applied it with laser focus, and smiled to check the result. That's when she saw it. A big, bright piece of lettuce, boldly stuck between her front teeth, waving like a tiny green flag of humiliation. Her eyes widened. "You've got to be kidding me." She frantically tried to fish it out with her finger, making faces worthy of a cartoon character. And then, it happened. The window rolled down. Slowly. Silently. Almost dramatically. Lily froze, fingers still half in her mouth, eyes locked in terror. Inside the car sat a man, early 30s, impeccably dressed in a tailored gray suit, hair perfect, eyes amused. The very picture of calm confidence. He had seen everything. "Need help with that?" he asked, voice smooth as silk, "or would you prefer a professional mirror?" Lily blinked. Her brain screamed, "Run!" But her legs refused to listen. With a deep breath, she lowered her hand, wiped it on her pants, and tried to salvage her dignity. "If you happen to find my pride," she said, "it's probably somewhere between the lipstick and the lettuce." He chuckled, just enough for his eyes to light up. In that moment, Lily didn't know who he was. She had no idea this man was about to flip her world upside down. All she knew was, her day had just gone from bad to unforgettable. Lily didn't stop running until she reached the elevator. Her cheeks were still burning from the car window incident. She pressed the button with a shaky finger and mumbled to herself, "Okay, forget it. Just pretend it never happened. That man's probably a random rich guy. What are the odds you'll ever see him again?" The elevator dinged, and she stepped inside, straightening her wrinkled blouse and trying to shake off the awkwardness. The building smelled like fresh coffee and money, an intimidating scent combo for someone whose bank account barely held $42. She checked her reflection one last time in the mirrored elevator doors and gave herself a little pep talk. "You're smart. You're capable. You may have had lettuce in your teeth, but you're still a professional." The doors slid open on the 21st floor. A clean, modern lobby stretched out in front of her, glass walls, sleek furniture, and people dressed like they walked straight out of a Forbes feature. Lily's nerves spiked. She gave her name to the receptionist, who offered a tight smile and said, "Mr. Blake will see you now. Last door on the right." She forced a smile. "Thanks." As she walked toward the office, her hands grew clammy around the resume folder. "Mr. Blake," she repeated in her head. Nice. Strong. Corporate. Sounds exactly like the type who hates people like me showing up late and flustered. She knocked twice and pushed the door open. What she saw made her stop in her tracks. Behind a massive glass desk, scrolling through a tablet, sat him. The man from the BMW. Lily froze. Her eyes widened. Her lungs forgot how air worked. He looked up, eyebrows lifting slightly in recognition, and then, he smiled. That same amused, charming smile from earlier. Miss Thompson, right? Oh my God, she muttered under her breath. It's you. Yes. It's me. Small world, huh? She blinked rapidly. You're the CEO? Ethan Blake, he said, rising from his seat and offering a handshake. Nice to meet you, again. Lily didn't move. Her brain was playing a highlight reel of her adjusting her bra, digging in her teeth, and calling the BMW a first-class mirror. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't realize. It's okay, he said calmly, still smiling. You made quite the impression. Actually, I don't think I've ever had such a memorable pre-interview moment. Lily wanted the floor to open up and swallow her whole. This is a nightmare, she mumbled. Ethan chuckled. Relax. You're here now. Let's talk about your experience, unless you need a moment to recover your dignity. She groaned, but sat down. The interview began. But Lily already knew this wasn't going to be a normal job interview, and this definitely wasn't going to be a normal job. Lily couldn't believe it. Somehow, despite the lettuce, the lipstick, and the complete public humiliation, she got the job. Her first day at Blake Tech felt like being dropped into a different universe. Everything was sleek, futuristic, and intimidating. The office smelled like cinnamon-scented air filters and ambition. Employees strolled by in tailored suits, whispering terms like cloud migration and AI deployment like it was second nature. Lily, meanwhile, was trying to keep her budget coffee from spilling on her second-hand blouse. Her desk sat between a fake fern and the world's loudest printer. Not glamorous, but it was hers. Emily, her new coworker, bright-eyed and chewing on a granola bar like it owed her money, leaned over and whispered, "So, you're the girl from the BMW story?" Lily blinked. "What story?" Emily grinned. "Oh, honey. The one with the lipstick, the bra, the lettuce, reflected in the office window. It made it up to the third floor before lunch." Lily groaned and dropped her forehead onto the desk. "I should have stayed unemployed." Emily laughed. "Relax. If anything, you're already a legend. You've got main character energy." Despite the rocky start, Lily threw herself into the job. She stayed late, asked questions, and pretended to know what half the acronyms meant. The learning curve was steep. On day 3, she nearly cried trying to format a spreadsheet correctly. But she pushed through. Then came the presentation. It was a last-minute investor pitch, big money, big pressure. The team was scrambling. Ethan stopped by her desk and said, "I want you in the room." Lily almost choked on her water. "Me? You think differently. We need that." She wanted to say no. She really did. But instead, she nodded, heart pounding like a drumline. The morning of the presentation, disaster struck again. Her right heel snapped while she was walking across the marble lobby. Not cracked. Not slightly bent. Completely broken, like it had been personally offended by success. Panicked, she ran to the bathroom and grabbed her emergency kit, duct tape, a hair tie, and a quarter. In 5 minutes, she MacGyvered her heel back into place. It looked like a middle school craft project, but it held. She arrived 3 minutes late, breathing fast, face flushed. Ethan glanced at her shoes and raised an eyebrow. "Don't ask," she whispered. In the conference room, executives and investors lined the table. Charts flashed on the screen. Numbers flew overhead. Lily sat quietly until one investor asked, "But how do we make this product actually connect with younger audiences?" The room went silent. Ethan looked at her. "Lily?" She froze. Then stood. "Well," she began, voice trembling, "young people want to feel like tech is made for them. Not just for experts. Something simple. Friendly. Like an app that says, 'You got this. Just click here.' Not intimidating. Just human." A beat of silence. Then a chuckle. A nod. "That's smart." Ethan smiled at her like he already knew she'd nail it. Lily sat down, heart racing. Her taped-up shoe held firm. So did her confidence. That was the day she realized, maybe she belonged here after all. After the investor pitch, everything changed. Lily became the girl who saved the room, though she still felt like the girl with the duct-taped heel. Word spread quickly. People from other departments started stopping her in the hallway to say, "Nice job," or "Hey, you're Lily, right?" She smiled, nodded, played it cool, but inside, she was still the girl trying not to spill coffee on her one good blouse. And then there was Ethan. He didn't say much after the presentation. Just a simple "well done" and a pat on the back as they left the room. But from that day on, something in the air between them shifted. Subtle. Unspoken. Unmistakable. They crossed paths more often. Meetings, check-ins, accidental elevator rides. He'd leave little notes on her desk, quick feedback, a quote, sometimes just a smiley face and the words "nice save, lettuce." It was inside joke territory now. And that only made her heart beat faster. Still, nothing was said. Nothing clear. And maybe that's why it felt even more electric. Then came the elevator. It was late. Everyone else had gone home. Lily had stayed behind, finalizing a report for the next day's product launch. She packed up, exhausted, and made her way to the elevator, hoping for a smooth ride and zero drama. The doors were closing when a hand slipped between them. The doors opened again, and there he was, Ethan, in a black coat, holding his phone, looking every bit like the cover of a tech magazine. "Hey," he said, stepping in beside her. "Hey," she replied, suddenly very aware of her slightly crooked bun and the stain on her sleeve from leftover salad dressing. They stood in silence as the elevator began to descend. Then, it jolted. Stopped. The lights flickered. "Oh, come on," Lily muttered, slapping the emergency button. Ethan pressed it too, calmly. "We're probably fine." Power surge. "This building has a backup generator." But Lily's heart was pounding. "I swear," she said with a nervous laugh, "if we're trapped here, and I end up confessing something super awkward, I'm blaming oxygen deprivation." Ethan smiled. "Go ahead. Confessions are allowed in stuck elevators." She looked at him. He looked at her. There was a pause, not awkward, just charged. The kind of moment where you're either about to say something brave, or ruin everything. She opened her mouth. And then, the elevator jerked back to life. Of course. The doors opened on the ground floor, perfectly on cue. They stepped out together in silence, the air thick with everything they didn't say. Lily turned to him. "So, we just pretend that didn't almost happen?" Ethan gave a small smile. "Only if you want to." She nodded, unsure what she wanted anymore. But as she walked out into the night, one thing was clear, feelings were no longer just rumors, they were real. And sooner or later, someone was going to say it out loud. After the elevator incident, nothing was ever quite the same. Lily tried to act normal, showing up on time, replying to emails, cracking jokes with her team, but inside, everything felt off balance. She kept replaying that moment in the elevator. The look in Ethan's eyes. The way her heart had skipped a beat when the lights flickered. The near confession. The silence afterward. She thought maybe he'd say something the next day. A message. A note. Anything. But nothing came. A week passed. And then another. They talked, of course. Professionally. Brief, polite, focused. But whatever had been building between them paused. Like someone had hit mute on a song that was just about to reach the chorus. Until one Friday morning. Lily arrived early, trying to beat the traffic and the awkwardness. On her desk was a small white envelope with her name in Ethan's handwriting. Her heart immediately jumped. Inside, a simple note: "You once told me your dignity was lost somewhere between lipstick and lettuce. I think I found it. Dinner tonight? Just you and me. No titles. No pressure. Just the truth." She read it 3 times. Then smiled. That evening, they met at a quiet rooftop restaurant in the city. Nothing flashy, just string lights, cozy music, and a view of the skyline that made everything feel possible. Lily wore her favorite black dress, the one that made her feel like herself, not someone she was trying to impress. Ethan was already there, waiting at the table, hands in his pockets, nerves barely hidden behind his usual calm. "I wasn't sure you'd come," he said as she approached. "I wasn't sure either," she replied. "But then I realized. I didn't want to keep wondering what if." They sat. Talked. Laughed. Caught up on everything and nothing. The awkward tension had been replaced with something warmer. Something real. Halfway through dinner, Ethan pulled out a small box. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just a simple blue velvet box, placed gently on the table. Lily's breath caught. "I know this might feel sudden," he said, voice steady, "but the truth is, I've been sure about you since the moment you tried to fight a piece of lettuce in front of my car." She laughed. Tears welled up. "You've made me rethink everything: how I lead, how I live, what I want. And what I want is you." He opened the box. Inside, a delicate ring. Understated, beautiful, just like her. "Lily Thompson," he said, "will you marry me?" She didn't hesitate. "Yes," she whispered. "Absolutely yes." They stood, embraced, the city lights glowing behind them. No grand audience. No big announcement. Just 2 people who'd stumbled into something extraordinary, through awkward first impressions, elevator silences, and heartfelt second chances. That night, as Lily slipped the ring onto her finger, she smiled and said, "From lettuce to love." "And Ethan?" He just pulled her closer and whispered, "Best story I've ever written." We hope you enjoyed this heartwarming roller coaster of a story, from lipstick mishaps to unexpected love. Now, we want to hear from you. What was your favorite part? Was it the hilarious lettuce in the teeth moment? The duct tape deal before the big meeting? Or maybe that almost kiss in the elevator that had your heart racing? Tell us in the comments, what would you have done in Lily's shoes? Hopefully not with duct tape. And here's a fun question: do you believe in love that starts in the most unexpected, embarrassing way? We'd love to know your thoughts. Also, let us know where you're watching from. It's amazing to see this community grow across cities, countries, even continents. Your comments mean more than you know. They help this channel grow, and they make storytelling feel like a shared experience, not just a video you watch, but something we experience together. So don't be shy, drop your reactions, theories, or even just a hello in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. It drops tomorrow, and trust us, it's a special one. See you in the comments.